reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing 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 reimagined.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all okay and you have a good lunch. Welcome to the public forum in relation to the search for the next university librarian. This afternoon is a way of looking back to look farther ahead as we listen to the presentations of the incumbent and of course the presentations for the visions for the university library. So I'm Sherilyn Monterola. I'm the director of the UP NISMED, National Institute for Science and Mathematics Education Development, your moderator for this afternoon. And together with me is Sean. Go ahead.
I'm Professor John Labor from the UP College of Mass Communication, one of the members of the committee, and together with Sher, we'll be moderating this public forum. To start off, we would like to welcome and call the OIC Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and the Chair of the Search Committee, Professor Percival F. Almoro. Sir?
Okay, thanks guys. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Ngayong hapon ay malalaman po natin yung estado ng UP Diliman Library System. Okay, mula sa ating University Librarian. Ngayong hapon atin din pong maririnig at makikilatis yung vision ng ating lone nominee for the next University Librarian. I hope we take advantage. Ako may mga naka-ready na akong tanong eh. Sana kayo din. Tanong po natin sa nominee yung kanyang mga filosofiya sa buhay at saka sa kanyang minimithing posisyon. Ano ba sa kanyang pananaw ang role ng University Librarian? Atin din pong tanongin yung kanyang mga planong proyekto, paano makaka-impact sa atin as faculty, as sa mga students, sa mga stakeholders. At saka yung uso ngayon, yung AI. Ano ba ang role ng AI systems sa ating library? Ano yung ating aabangan? At pwede din natin pong tanong yung mga strategy na kanyang ihahain at paano bumabangga ito sa ating values bilang National University. At bukod doon, paano makakatulong sa general public, beyond the UP constituency, the general public. Exciting, sige, yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Doc Bal. At somehow, binigyan niyo na kami ng mga prompts para sa mga katanungan na gusto niyo pong malinawan ngayong hapon. Bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating pong forum ngayong hapon, ay gusto ko lamang pong ipakilala sa atin ng mga kasapi ang mga miyembro ng Search Committee. Una po ay ang ating chair ng Search Committee, walang iba kundi si Dr. Val Almoro, OIC ng OVCAA. Kasama din po natin si Dr. Ivy Suwan, Director ng OAP. Kasama din po bilang membro ng Search Committee ay si Dr. Ian Kendrich Fontanilla ng College of Science. Yan po, pinapakita po sa screen. At kasama din po natin si Professor Eric Paulo S. Capistrano mula sa Pirate School of Business. At kasama din po natin si Professor John Labor, na kanina po ay naipakilala na natin, at yours truly po, mula naman po sa College of Education at UP NISMED. Yan po. I turn it over to you, Sir John. Thank you.
So maraming salamat, Ma'am Sher. So na-meet na natin yung mga miyembro ng committee. It's time to give our focus to our lone presenter. Before we hear her out in terms of her plans and visions, we would like to, of course, ask her to present her end-of-term report to everyone. So please welcome the incumbent University Librarian, Ms. Elvira B. Lapus. Ma'am Elvie.
There, okay. So, good afternoon po. May I be please allowed to share my presentation? Okay. Screen share. Ayan. Nakikita po ba yung aking presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ayan. So, again, magandang hapon po at good morning po dito sa kung saan ako nandoon. Ako po ngayon ay nasa Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Currently, I'm attending a conference. Ito po yung tinatawag naming Olympics ng mga librarian. Ang International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, World Library and Information Congress. So hanggang Friday po ito. Okay, so again, thank you very much po for this opportunity to share with you ano po ang nangyari with sa ating university library. Well, at least for the past 3 years, bilang ako po ang naging university librarian. I got appointed during that time na talagang, well, to say that it was a very challenging time then is an understatement. Talaga pong pumasok ako doon sa panahon na kinakailangan ng matinding mga pamamaraan para makaagapay or for us to be able to take it over that period na challenging nga talaga. So this is my report, end of term report. This is from September 2020 when I first appointed up to August 2023. So ito pong mga panahon na to. Ayan. I'm gonna focus on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items here in my report. So I will make it fast po para sabi nga ni Sir Val, hindi naman kayo makatulong. Ayan. So number 1 po na naging priority namin during that time is yung support to remote teaching and learning. Kasi yan po yung naging paraan natin, no? Para makapagpatuloy during that very, very difficult time. So what we're able to do then is, of course, make it a point that we're able to continue to support our students, our of course the faculty and our researchers by providing, of course, yung mga resources that would help them in their academic requirements and their researches. So number 1 po na talagang thankful kami to the university administration because we're able to subscribe to online academic resources. And then we've had the opportunity to develop information systems for the library. We were able to assist our faculty in the preparation of yung mga course packs. We were able to upgrade our e-reserve book titles because these are the titles that are, required for our students in their various classes. And then we provided a service. Ito po yung aming naging parang highlight ng mga services ng library because we cannot do face-to-face. So what we did is we develop, although we've been doing this for quite some time. This is what we used to call yung ating document delivery service. So we just made some tweaks in this na develop namin na talagang nag-fit doon sa need ng ating users during that time. And then we have some systems for online book reservation. We were able to do library instructions, albeit being in an online environment. So we were doing library instructions and orientations online. And of course, we did some marketing strategies so that we can increase yung awareness ng ating mga users on what resources are actually available. So yan po yung mga ginawa namin. Parang just to be able to support that remote teaching and learning mode natin. So again, thank you to the university administration. We're able to, subscribe to these resources. Actually, mas marami pa po ito and we are continuing and I hope, specifically during this period po, we're gonna be needing your support. You have to tell us, you'll have to let us know ano po yung mga resources pa na kailangan ninyo so that we can make we can prepare for the justifications, for the market study, so that we can add them to our current subscriptions. And then, we also subscribe to plagiarism tools, etc. Meron po tayo nito in case you haven't tried it. We have turned it in as one of our resource. Although hindi po siya strictly na library resource. This is more for, this is a plagiarism checker and this is more for the use of the faculty. Okay. So we did continue with the development of different information systems for the library. So andyan na rin pa rin po yan. Would like to share that we have this library web scale resource discovery tool, the Tuklas. Okay, this is if you need to check and search for resources in our library, we can make use of this to class. And then we have Booklod, the library services platform, which launched last year. Instead of us subscribing to commercial library services apps, we have this Booklod developed by our own team at the university library. So malaki po ang na-save ng UP dito. And then some activities by the different colleges, as I mentioned, help and assistance to the faculty in preparations of their course packs. So hindi ko na po isa-isahin yan. Upgrading of e-reserve, particularly for the College of Engineering Library and the College of Science. Dahil sila po yung may pinakamalaking pangangailangan in terms of our e-reserves. Of course, being the bigger, two of the biggest colleges that we have. And then, again, as I mentioned, we developed and we enhanced our document delivery service, and we termed it Resource on Demand. Ito po talaga yung tumulong sa amin na manatiling konektado at nakakapagbigay ng serbisyo sa ating mga sa buong UP community. So, yeah, we call it the Resource on Demand. We also have, digitizing. We've been digitizing our collection so that we can, make it part of this resource on demand service. We do that for some of the colleges and of course for the university archives. Kasi ito po talaga, aside from this being, quite unique collection, as much as possible, we don't want the physical items be serviced. So we're prioritizing digitizing this records and documents from the university archives. Again, online book reservation, as I said, lalo na sa College of Engineering, kasi sila nga po may pinakamalaking pangangailangan doon in the College of Science. Online library instruction, so we do it by appointment, and well, thankfully po, patuloy namin itong nagagawa, and we still are able to, connect and engage our students through our library instruction program. And we're doing it online now. And we continue to do that kasi most of our, especially the undergrad students and the graduates, and mostly for the graduate students, they prefer the online mode, okay, when they connect to the library. Okay, let's just skip that. What we did to increase awareness of our library resource, we provided our users with some guidelines, some information so that they're gonna continue to be, be aware of what we are doing in the library. So we have this UPD Live Guide to New Normal and the Library Starter Kit. So we distributed that to our students, to our faculty, so they will know how they can continue using the library, even if the physical library, the library buildings are closed during that time. So they can continue to have access to our resources. And then we continue to have a series of webinars so that, again, we can still engage our students on what, and let them know what's happening in the library. So skip ko naman po ito. Okay. Ano yung pandemic response ng university library? So some of the highlights there is yung development of implementation of the post-ECQ guidelines. And then we also make it a point that we have initiatives for mental health, lalo na po sa aming mga staff. And then eventually, towards the, nung medyo nakaka-recover na tayo, of course, we had to prepare for yung gradual reopening and full opening for face-to-face classes. So ito po yung mga panahon na talagang we had to have the libraries ready again for face-to-face service. So may tulong naman po ito ng ating universities because guidelines were issued, and we just have to follow those guidelines when we have to make these preparations. Okay, so yan, as I mentioned, UP guidelines. So may mga ilang projects po kami na magsisiguro na na-address din po yung ating mga mental health advocacy. So may mga meron kaming mga shout-outs sa mga social media posts natin. And then there's a video that we produce, yung Tanglaw Kaalaman, just to present the initiatives and activities of the library. So nailabas po namin ito. I believe this was in 2020. Okay, nalabas po yan. So this is a video about how we were able to continue providing services and letting the community that the library is still there during this most difficult times. Again, for mental health advocacy, mga seminars together and in partnership with the different committees of the library. This one, Okay Ka Pa Ba, with the Library Gender and Development Committee. So nandyan po yan. And then yung preparations for the gradual reopening. Nauna po ang College of Engineering na nakapaghanda. So sila yung naging parang model namin in preparing for the face-to-face and gradual face-to-face opening ng classes. Okay, sinundan po yan ng mga iba pang college libraries. So, focus po kami on the physical space of the library for this gradual reopening. Okay. Sorry, yan na rin po yan. I'll just skip on this. Okay. Some projects naman po for the past 3 years include this. I would just like to report that as of June 2023, the renovation of Gonzales Hall is 91% complete, and we're looking forward to finally being able to go back to the university main library by, well, hopefully second quarter of 2024. Yun po yung talagang makakabalik na kami, makakapaglipat na ulit, may ayos na po uli yung aming mga serbisyo, at makakabalik na talaga ang mga estudyante na magagamit ang main library or ang Gonzales Hall. And then we have a project, the User Experience Initiatives. This is conducted by the Strategic Communications Research and Marketing section of the University Library, wherein we look into how our users are actually perceiving the library. And siguro po at some in other venue, we're gonna report kung ano po yung mga naging findings nito. Ang mga unit libraries po namin, kagaya po ng Virata School of Business, nagkaroon sila ng isang proyekto on compiling government registration forms na naging napakalaking tulong po sa ating mga stakeholders. And then there are collaborative projects naman ng mga unit libraries with degree granting units. We also beefed up on our digitization projects dahil ito na nga po ang talagang naging sagot sa amin dahil nga naging mahirap para sa amin ang face-to-face service. And we also managed to do some outreach activities. So ayan. So digitization, in terms of digitization, we've finally, able to digitize this very important collection by Teodoro Agoncillo with the funding from the NCCA. And then Archives also was awarded a 7 million pesos project for the storage improvement project. Ayan po. And again, we also focus on digitizing yung mga unique collection ng University Library, that like the special collections wherein we have the local history and people's court collection there. And we also got some fundings so that we can, work on digitizing Philippine Radical Papers. These are unique collection of the University Library. Wala na po itong kapareho or wala po itong kopya anywhere else. So we were prioritizing digitizing them. Okay, so we also got a PAP grant wherein we can now digitize some of our microfilms. Okay, so ito naman po ay project ng Information Services and Instruction section. Okay, we have the digital archives at UP Diliman as per headed by the IR and IP Committee ng University Library. So we are digitizing po yung mga unique collections din ng university, including our electronic thesis and dissertation. So hindi pa po lahat kasali dito. As of 2016 na nag-umpisa kami, 6 lang sila, but as of January 2021, we already have 13 units contributing to our IR. Ayan. So again, digitization projects by by the different colleges. So sumama po dyan ang College of Music and SIPAG, College of Science, and the College of Social Work and Community Development libraries. Okay. Some outreach activities naman po since we celebrated our 100 years. So magkaroon po kami ng outreach activities. Ito po, simpleng agang handog para sa ating mga security guards sa university in appreciation of their continued. Kasi po, kung talagang titingnan natin, sila yung naiwan eh. Sila yung naiwan sa university. Sila yung nagpatuloy habang tayo nag-work from home. Sila po yung patuloy naman na nagsiservisyo. So sila po yung ninais namin na bigyang handog as we celebrated our 100 years. And then there's another activity. This is on information on personal health literacy. This is an outreach project for a barangay in Cabinti, Laguna. We were able to donate books. We were able to actually, have a start for their barangay library. So ayan po, ito po ng dalawa sa naging outreach projects ng University Library. Okay. Ang ibang units din po, nagkaroon sila ng kanilang mga outreach activities, kagaya po ng ASP or School of Archaeology na ngayon, kanilang book donations. Ang College of Fine Arts din po, were able to conduct book donations. And ang TMC naman po is, dahil naging importante po ang pagkakaroon ng mga modules sa mga eskwelahan noon, nagkaroon sila ng Bond Paper Mo Module Co project. Ayan. We also look into our staff. Okay, we continued with our vision for, how we can transform our people, our library staff. So some of the highlights of what we did, of course, even if we are not able to, have an assembly face-to-face, we did it virtual. Instead of having a face-to-face celebration, dahil bawal nga, okay, we had this from 2020, 21, 22. We have the virtual General Assembly of Library Staff. Kahit po paano nagkakakumustahan, nagkakaalaman kung anong lagay ng bawat isa. We continue to have, through our staff training and development committee, webinars with topics addressing specific, staff development needs. And then, tuloy-tuloy din po yung capacity building for online referencing specifically. This is spearheaded by the Information Services and Instruction section. Our Library Research Committee have this advancing library research programs. Tuloy-tuloy din po yan. And of course, we make it a point that we participate to the health and wellness programs and initiatives by the university para po ito sa amin ding staff development. Okay. Some of the awards, I would just like to highlight this because we're just so blessed that even during this, like I said, the most difficult time, some of our staffs, okay, we're recognized and their services acknowledged. I would just like to share with you some of these awards. Of course, one outstanding library program with the College of Engineering. This was awarded the 2020 PAARL Outstanding Library Program. The I Need, I Value, I Love My Library. This was received in 2020. And then our Gawad Kasarian Award for our Gender and Library Committee, the very first Gawad Kasarian Award. Okay. And then our Galing UPD Awards naman for 2021 for our Information Literacy Group of the main library. Galing Award, pagkilala sa pinakamahusay na unit at pangkat. Nagkaroon din po muli ang UP Engineering Library for their I Love My Library. I Need, I Value, I Love My Library. This time, the 2022 Gawad Chancellor para sa natatanging programang pang-extension. Yan po, ito naman ay natanggap noong 2022. At ito pong huli, ito lamang pong January, ang aming pong gamification and information literacy program, the Great Info Hunt, was awarded the PAARL or the Philippine Association of Academic and Research Librarians Most Outstanding Library Program for 2022. Iba pong pagkilala din po sa ilang kasamahan na nagkaroon ng award. Si Miss Amy Rhea Lagrama, ang ating pong Deputy University Librarian, bilang Gawad, Dr. Pio Valenzuela Awardee for Professional on Librarianship from the local government of Valenzuela. Our very own Ma'am Sharon Esposa Betan, Gawad Chancellor sa natatanging reps. Mr. Edmond Heredias para sa dangal ng UP Diliman Award. Si Liberato Javier, 2021 PUSA Award and 2023 Dangal Award. And of course, Miss Rizalyn Hanyo, Gawad Chancellor sa natatanging reps for 2022. Some operational indicators, I'm not going to bore with these. So some of the highlights lang, we continue to monitor our book funds. Although we were having some issues on this because of the free tuition or the free university, it's quite a challenge, requesting from the CHED the supposed reimbursement, okay, for the university library, for the library fees, supposedly, for the library fees that we are supposed to receive. So medyo challenging po yung part na yan. And then we continue to evaluate our print and non-print collections, our serials, and then we continue to work our reference and ROD, and we continue to monitor who are from among our staff are continuing their graduate studies and postgraduate and aiming for postgraduate degrees. Okay, so skip that. Ako naman po bilang University Librarian, ako po ngayon ay member, I'm an elected member of the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions Regional Division Office representing Asia and Oceania. And I'm also the current secretary of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, National Committee on Libraries and Information Services. So yan, mga karagdagang tungkulin po bilang isang librarian. Okay, nag-celebrate din po kami ng aming 100 years sa library, although napakasimple lamang po ito given that medyo hindi pa allowed ang kahit na anong mga pagtitipon during this time. But we continue our celebrations, we continue to have programs commemorating the 100 years of the University Library. So these are some of the programs we were able to conduct during that celebration. One of the highlights then is the Library Amnesty Program, wherein we allowed the return of any material borrowed from the library without charging yung mga fines or mga overdue charges. So just return it to the library so they can, we can have them back in our shelves and have them, available for use for our users. Yeah. Okay. Ongoing initiatives po namin for review na po ang ating UP Library Organic Act. This was first ratified in 1990. So for review na po talaga siya. And then yung ating library rules and regulations na marami na pong hindi na talaga akma sa kung ano man yung tamang pagbibigay ng serbisyo sa ngayon. And of course, our matrix for review and revise the comparative matrix for librarians. This is our guide. This is our performance measure when we select and hire members of the university library or new librarians and college librarians. Okay, so yun po, maraming salamat, and yun po ang nangyari sa University Library for the past 3 years during my first term as university librarian. Thank you po.
Thank you so much, LV, for your presentation and achievements, no? As the university librarian in the past 3 years. I've noted 3 important points, no? Yung una siguro is yung continued leadership, a testament of the library's inclusive environment during and post-pandemic. Second is the expansion of the digital collections of the library, which makes it easier for both the faculty and the students, no, to gain access to information. And third is the development of the new programs and services. So grateful po ang University of the Philippines Diliman sa leadership at sa dedication po ninyo. And thank you once again for your presentation, ma'am. At this point, we would like to pause for a 5-minute break for us to ponder and perhaps ask the questions, or craft the questions, which we can ask later when we go to the Q&A. With regards to Q&A, we would like to remind everyone to use the Q&A function of our Zoom room. Our attendees in YouTube or in various platforms may also post their questions as comments, and then someone from our team will scout and scrape those questions so we can ask these later. Okay, so again, thank you, Ma'am LV, and it's 1:59. We'll pause for a 5-minute quick break, and we'll return around 2:05 p.m. so we can continue with the program. Thank you for being here.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Welcome back po. I hope you took that short break, no? And welcome to the second half of our public forum. Earlier, we were able to listen to Ma'am LV as she put on her hat as the incumbent university librarian. She talked about the different transformative responses of the university library during the pandemic. And of course, the different initiatives to cater to the mental health of the library staff. We also heard about the outreach activities, the awards and operational indicators, again, pertaining to the university library. Now, let's listen to her as she put on another hat as the lone nominee for the search for the next university librarian. So now let's listen to Ma'am LV as she present to us her visions for the university library in the next 3 years. Ma'am LV, I welcome you again to the stage to share your
Okay,
vision
thank
paper.
you.
Thank you.
Again. Yeah, please allow me to share. Okay, this is my, my vision for the university library, at least for the next 3 years. I will be appointed or have my second term as the university librarian. Okay, so let me just go back to the first page. Okay, this is my vision. This is the paper I submitted to the search committee. First, if you allow me, let me just reintroduce myself. My name is Elvira B. Lapus. I'm the university librarian from September 23 to the present. And I was also the deputy university librarian from 2016 to 2020. I'm a proud graduate of the UP School of Library Information Studies, formerly the UPILS. I'm also a senior lecturer at the UPSLIS. I had been given the opportunity to serve our professional organization. I'm president of the Philippine Librarians Association, incorporated in 2015 and 2016, and president of the Philippine Association of Academic and Research Librarians in 2009. I'm also current member of the Professional Regulations Commission, Continuing Professional Development Council for Librarians, and like I mentioned earlier, an elected member of the IPLA RDO for Asia and Oceania. Yan po. Okay, my vision for the university library is for it to be, the acknowledged leader in the academic community, that we continue to be resilient, we serve with compassion, and consistent in providing these smart services. Our aspiration is to be an excellent learning center of learning, research, and creativity, continuing to be able to be vital to student success, faculty development, and public service. We aim to provide adaptive learning spaces, and we're going to use technologies so we can continue to support the research and knowledge creation of the university. We shall strive to provide and maintain equitable access to inclusive, diverse, and comprehensive sources of information. And we're going to do this by providing well-developed research tools, unique local resources, information literacy programs, and state-of-the-art facilities, of course, with the help of the university. And we aim to take the lead in developing and utilizing the talents and skills of our library staff so that we can achieve excellence in service delivery. And so how are we going to do, or what's the strategies so we can reach this or attain this vision for the library? Okay, so some guiding principles here. So the UPD libraries will continue to be resilient, smart, and compassionate. So these are the three things that will guide us, okay, in continuing our the service delivery in the library, in the service of the UP community. Okay, so one thing, we're going to aim for maintaining the library's vital role in achieving student success, faculty development, and public service. Why is this? Because, consistent with the acknowledged mandate of the university, the library should provide, of course, quality resources and services. That's always been a given. And appropriate learning spaces to support student success, faculty development, and we're gonna serve as partners in initiatives for public service. Why the appropriate learning spaces? In terms of the physical library, I believe this is the time now that we look into the current state of our different, not only the main library, but the college and unit libraries. So there are ways to create improvements, maybe not as, as grand as we would like it, but at least, some small steps that could at least give us a kickstart on how we can make improvements on our library. We're gonna promote a more inclusive and engaging culture by creating an environment in which everyone should feel welcome and safe. The library should always be that safe space within the community. Walang judgment, everybody's welcome, everybody is able to, avail of the services that we're able to offer, both for the students, for the faculty, for our researchers, for UP staff, and other stakeholders in the university. Okay. And doing all this, we still, make it a point that the library shall continue to promote exchange of ideas, of course, free speech and critical thinking. That's always been our mantra. Okay, so some of our strategies, of course, we're aiming for that, final completion of the Gonzales Hall para po makabalik na kami. And then we have to review and revisit our existing library spaces. So kasabay po nito yung yung mga appropriate accommodations for our students, particularly those with different physical and cognitive needs. And then provide for inclusion of learning commons in our library spaces when we plan and we enhance our library programs and services. We're gonna look into creating wellness spaces and collections, the main library, and of course the college and unit libraries in support of well-being, and of course staying educated about one's health. Very important po ito, lalo na sa panahon ngayon. We're gonna partner with various units of the university in the implementations of these programs with accessibility, equality, inclusivity, and diversity in our main agenda. We're going to continue to work with our faculty on integrating information literacy into the curriculum. So why the emphasis on information literacy? Because more than ever, we need to have everyone, be information literate. Okay, digital literacy, even may bago pa po ngayon yung algorithm literacy. So we also, gonna have to explore that further. And then we're gonna plan and implement well-developed information literacy programs. So tuloy-tuloy lang po yan. We're gonna aim to accommodate in the library programs activities that focus on providing student support for the future of work and civic engagement. So patuloy po yung mga programa namin. We're gonna hire student assistants, interns din po dahil maganda po ang nagiging training ng ating mga nagiging OJTs and interns sa university libraries. We're gonna be partners when there are, needs for spaces and venues for the conduct of book fairs, and of course, referrals and endorsements if needed. We also gonna continue to support the work of our Gender and Development Committee within the library and the university. Support the research agenda of university by promoting a culture of research within the library. And support the Library Extension Committee with their programs for extension and outreach. Okay. Next, main agenda, provide and maintain equitable access to inclusive, diverse, and comprehensive sources of information for teaching, learning, and public service. This is the reason for being of the library. We're gonna continue that. Like I said, when we shifted to remote teaching and learning, we made it, we made the necessary adjustments. And I want to believe that the library, had the least difficulty in this aspect, because in a way we are already doing it. So in a way we are more ready when we had to shift to remote learning and teaching. So nakahanda po ang library doon. And then we have developed systems, that shall enable us. Thankfully po, well-equipped ang library in terms of providing digital resources and online support service. So yan pa po, meron kaming library services platforms that customized by the university. UP made itong ating library services platform. Of course, with the help of our IT division. And I would just like to emphasize, we're so blessed that we have Mr. Chito Angeles, our former university librarian, spearheading all these information technology developments in the library. So how we're going to do this, some strategies. We may have to do evaluation and improve on the overall collection development, particularly our Filipiniana collection, which is our niche collection. We have quite a unique Filipiniana collection, and we're so And we're so into doing more for this collection development, like I said, particularly for Filipiniana. We're going to propose for the continued support of the university in providing the necessary funds for continued and sustained subscriptions to online academic databases. This is quite a challenge for us every year, but with the help of the university, we're able to continue doing this. We're going to support the needs of students and faculty by providing technologies for access and use through our hardwares. Of course, procure new computers and then provide that learning spaces that they will be requiring. We're going to enhance our digitization initiatives. Ngayon po, lalo na, mas kinakailangan natin. Not only because we want to protect and preserve our resources, our materials, but also to meet the teaching and research needs of the university by adding contents to the university library institutional repositories. And of course, for our resource on demand service then, because we mostly deliver digitized resources for that. And we're going to prioritize digitizing our rare collection that require, of course, careful handling. So we don't have to service the physical materials. So ang isa po dyan yung nasa special collections section. We're gonna continue on digitizing them. Na-mention na po, stepping up on the efforts to acquire Filipiniana materials, both published locally and from foreign publishers. And developing more programs and services that shall provide support to students and faculty in their research efforts. So, we're gonna add to this existing program. Sa ngayon po, meron na tayo ng SINAG, ang ROD, Android, etc. These are mostly for online reference service. Okay. We're gonna be initiating programs for preservation and conservation. This is long time coming for the University Library. Matagal na po natin itong ginagawa dapat, pero may mga ilang challenges po talaga sa atin. So we cannot really, speed up on this or really, see this to completion. And even though I mentioned about, continued access to commercial databases and academic resources, we're also gonna use, use open educational resources and other freely and publicly available. So we're gonna work also beef up on our open access initiatives kasama po nito. And then leveling up on marketing and promotion of activities so that we can showcase and highlight our library collections. And of course, the aim is for the optimized use of these resources. So, okay. Agenda 3. We take the lead in developing and utilizing the talents and skills of our library staff. So let me just quote on this. And in the words of former New York Public Library President Timothy Healy, the most important asset of any library goes home at night. Of course, they are the library staff. Our librarians, our library staff, and the life and essence of the library. And for the next 3 years at least, we shall aim to keep and maintain a pool of librarians and library staff able to deliver quality service, aiming for excellence, of course. We shall strive to live up to the UP's time-honored tradition of honor and excellence by having our workforce knowledgeable and skilled college librarians and support staff. We shall take the effort to provide for their continuing professional development and will include in our programming activities for acquiring new skills and updating old and obsolete skills. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Again, we may have to review and revisit our university library performance measures and guidelines. So ongoing naman na po ito. We're going to beef up on hiring and retaining the required numbers of librarians and staff to support the learning, teaching, and outreach services of the library. We're going to continue conducting orientation and onboarding seminars for new employees. Importante po ito so that they can, easily integrate into the library system. Ensure that the library staff have equal opportunities to take advantage of various professional development programs, trainings, and other opportunities for development. Specifically po for our librarians, our practicing professionals, continuing professional development is a must. Okay. We also gonna conduct pa din in-house trainings and programs that will enhance staff ability to deliver service beyond satisfactory. Okay, and also to prepare them, of course, for job advancement. Continue our library awards and recognition program, and of course, celebrate our employee achievements. Plan and implement staff activities that shall address health and wellness and providing support. We have a specific committee for this, the Health and Wellness Committee. and plan and conduct a strategic planning so that we can prepare and have everyone on board on what's gonna happen for the next 3 years and what our plans are for the next 3 years at least. And then develop programs. So this time we will address our employees will be separated from service so that we can, do it easily and without much challenges. So we can have this financial literacy, planning for retirement, possible livelihood, etc. Okay, so yun po at marami pong salamat. Handa na po ako sa inyong mga tanong.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Ayan po, narinig na po natin ang vision po ni Ma'am LV para po sa University Library kung magbibigyan ng pangalawang pagkakataon sa susunod na 3 taon. Ayan po, gusto ko lang pong bigyang pansin yung mga hinighlight na sabi kanina sa vision paper ni Ma'am LV. Habang kayo po ay naghahanda ng inyong mga katanungan, maaari niyo pong gamitin ang ating pong Q&A box. No? So bilang pag-summarize lang po sa mga nasabi kanina na ibahagi ni Ma'am LV. So, una, binigyan niyang puntos yung pagkakaroon natin na tinatawag na adaptive and inclusive learning spaces para sa ganun ay matugunan ang mandato din ng ating universidad bilang primera klase, namumuno na knowledge creation hub dito sa Pilipinas. Gusto ko ring bigyan pansin, bigyan tuon ng nasabi niya na 3 adjectives kanina. Kung ito po ay natatandaan niyo pa, resilient, smart, at saka compassionate. At tumimo rin po kanina sa akin yung sinasabi niya na talagang suporta para sa ganoon ay to ensure student success, faculty development, at syempre pa hindi nawawala yung tinatawag po natin na public service. Gusto ko rin yung nasabi ni Ma'am LV kanina regarding well-being, pagbibigay tuon din sa well-being at yung tinatawag nating skills development, kaugnay din ng future of work, hindi natin nilalayo doon. At kasama nga po dito ay ang tinatawag na pagtangkilik lalong-lalo na sa talent development at saka sa upskilling, pagpapatuloy na pagpapalago ng kagalingan at kasanayan ng ating pong mga library staff. Ayan po. So I hope marami po tayong narinig galing sa mga presentasyon mula kanina bilang incumbent na University Librarian at ngayon naman po ay ang kanyang vision paper. So I guess handang-handa na po kayo na simulan natin ang ating pong open forum. Sir John, I turn it over to you. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, ma'am. Sure. Okay, so may mga konting questions na tayo natatanggap sa ating Q&A. So again, keep them coming kasi andyan si Ma'am LV para sagutin ito. So at this point, we give the floor to our stakeholders and their questions. I'll start with this first question from our Q&A. Hi, Ma'am LV. Sabi niya, just want to know more about the succession planning to help prepare current and future university librarians like you take on leadership challenges.
Okay. Right now, the most I can say is that yung current structure ng university library would easily identify who could be the next university librarian. Succession planning na siya in a way because from this structure, makikita na natin, unang-una na in terms of like yung current positions. So sino ba from our structure ngayon, yung pwedeng sumunod in terms of like, pwede ko nang tingnan sino ba yung mga CL5 ngayon ng library. Yan yung pinakamadali, yan yung pinaka-practical. So, dalawa na lang naman yung nakaupo dyan. So, pwedeng sabihin ko, mamimili na lang ako sa kanilang dalawa or magno-nominate na lang ako sa kanilang dalawa. But of course, ibang usapan pa rin yung actual yung actual na preparedness of whoever will be the next, okay? Or who will be have that, hindi lang potential but like I said, yung readiness. So meron naman po yan sa ating current structure. And in terms of planning, we may not be doing it like, okay, sige, maghanda ka na, ikaw na yung susunod or ikaw yung pwedeng ma-consider for the position. But it's more of like, in terms of like achievement. Sino ba talaga yung meron ng na-contribute? Sino ba talaga yung meron pang potential na mas makakapagdagdag para sa university library. So, madali po yan para sa university library. Yung nga sabi ko, in terms of our current structuring, and of course, in a manner of preparing our staff. So, even now, I can already have at least 2 names. So, in terms of succession, and hindi lang po succession para sa posisyon ng university librarian. but succession in terms of identifying those who can be the heads of the different unit libraries. So mas yun po yung pinaghahandaan namin. How are we going to address the need for, say, someone retires or someone is separated from service for whatever reason? So nakahanda naman po dyan ng libraries, and we have like criteria on identifying who can be the next head of this unit, of this college library. So meron naman pong mga panuntunan at pamantayan ang library para dyan.
Thank you, Ma'am LV. Ma'am Sure, may mga questions pa, no?
Opo. Ma'am Elvie, here's another question po from our one of the attendees po, no? Ma'am, what are your experiences from benchmarking or prior observations from outside the university that can be implemented within UP in the next 3 years?
Okay. Okay, let me just share this. No, this is what comes to my mind every time I get to visit a library, especially a library from a first world country. It's like, kung nakakamatay ang inggit, hindi na ako makakauwi. Sobrang nakakainggit po talaga yung state of yung mga libraries that, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to visit libraries from first world countries. Most recently, I completed the ASEAN Summer School for library transformation. This was in Singapore, and we visited 3 university libraries. The NUS, the National University of Singapore, which I believe is the #1 university in Asia now, the Singapore Management University, and the Nanyang Technological University. I'm just so glad that, okay, hindi naman tayo nahuhuli in terms of, yung service delivery, yung manner. But we're quite, parang malayo pa in terms of yung mga adaptive technologies nila. So, kulang pa tayo doon. Spaces that specifically address needs. For example, yung mga specific needs. For example, I saw in one library a bike in the library that if you use it, you can also charge your cell phone. This is specific services na sana meron din tayo. So that was the experience. And I want to believe that with that inggit, or with that, yung parang sana meron din ang UP, I can already pick up from those. Hindi siguro madali, but at least I will have these models, okay, that will easily tell me na, okay, this will definitely something that UP library will benefit from. So this is the kind of service that the UP library is actually needing. So that's the experience when you do benchmarking. Benchmarking is basically comparing what you have and then aiming for those things that you actually see that it could be done. It could be present also in our library, and that's how I want to see benchmarking. Hindi natatapos dun sa naiinggit ka lang dahil nakikita mo siya, but something that will make you think, that will make you know, okay, how will I be able to have it in the UP library? Maybe not as sophisticated or as expensive, but something that will fit the need or will provide for the need of our stakeholders. That's how I would like to see benchmarking.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Elvie, for that answer. Sir John will read the next question.
Yes. Okay. So next question, Ma'am LV, no? How would you assess the organizational culture of the university library, and what are your action plans to improve it? Okay, if there is a need for any improvement.
Okay. The UP library is an organization. Okay, like I would like to look at it as something as, very dynamic in so many ways. No, very dynamic ang organizational culture, from the structure, from the way people actually think, perform, do their service delivery. It's quite a dynamic then, in a sense na we're talking about here of 200 plus. Okay, 200 plus individuals, 200 plus UP employees. Each one has their own, unique personality, unique requirements. So these things we will have to address. But I would like to describe it more as a culture that is quite clear with how we understand our reason for being there, for being part of the university. We understand that we are there because our students need us, our faculty need us. There are researchers that will be needing the library. And then you also have employees that look up to the library for help on how they can perform their tasks, their duties. So it is a culture that I believe is that are those that understand our role, okay, and we take it seriously. If I may share, during the time na talagang we're struggling and it's quite difficult, having to, even if we say na okay, we gonna be working from home, what we did is okay, may marching orders now, we only be gonna be working from home, but you see, it's quite impossible for the library to be doing just that because our library collection is there in that building. So may ginawa kami na okay, so hindi pwedeng sabay-sabay, hindi pwedeng lahat tayo nandun, hindi pwedeng wala. So nagawa ng paraan yon. And I want to believe because it's a culture of commitment, it's a culture of understanding your role and taking it seriously. And most importantly, I want to believe that the library has that culture of malasakit. Okay, it's very, very, very clear. Hindi ka among well, at least I want to believe majority of the library staff understand that hindi kami nandoon dahil pumapasok kami ng alas 8 at umuwi ng alas 5. The library has always been a unit that extends. I mean, extends in all sense of the word. Extended service, extended operating hours, extended other duties and other service. So yan po ang kultura ng University Library. And I want to believe that we can continue that.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am LV. Next question, Ma'am Sher.
Ma'am LV, ang ating pong susunod na tanong ay may 3 bahagi. Okay po. First, how would you rate your first term? 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Second part po, what's your proudest accomplishment? And what aspect you think needs more attention? Yun po yung 3 questions.
Ito na ang mga Miss Universe question. Anyway, I'm going to be quite modest kasi I know during my term it's that sabi nga nila ako yung COVID UL yung COVID na University Librarian because I was appointed during this time now. So I wouldn't claim na talagang we were able to do it na nandun kami sa 10, but I would rate my term as a 7 kasi alam ko ang dami pang kailangang gawin. Ang dami pang improvements na dapat nangyari, but because of our limitations during this time, hindi namin nagawa. And I acknowledge that. I have to be accepting of this. There's still lots of things to do. So I would honestly na 7 lang talaga during my term. My proudest accomplishment is we were able to continue. Actually, yun lang we were able to continue. The library remained. The library stayed. We were there in all aspects of service to the university. And more than that, we're able to do outreach. We're able to do extension work despite the difficulty of those times na we had to deal with the pandemic. I would like to consider that as my proudest moment, my proudest accomplishment. We stayed, we remained, we continue. Yun. What aspect you think needs more attention? Okay, there are lots of technologies in our library that needs actual immediate attention. And I would like to focus on that if I will be given the opportunities. There are lots of service enhancements that we can still do. There are lots of upskillings that we need to do in terms of technology, knowledge of technology and use para sa mga staff and even for our users, our students. So gusto ko sana dun mag-focus. I'm sure may magtatanong about AI, so that's another thing. I couldn't claim complete, understanding and an expert in AI. I'm not that, but I'm continuing to learn. At least there are 3 things that I could say na talagang pwedeng magamit ang AI, but I'm gonna wait for that question. I'm sure it will come up. Yun. So, yeah, that's it.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Mahaba man po ang tanong, cover niyo po lahat yung tatlong katanungan. So, Sir John, baka yung pong susunod na katanungan ay gusto niyo na pong basahin. Thank you.
Okay. LV, yung next na tanong ay ano yung perspective or take po ninyo pag merong or kung magkakaroon ng study, work, and event spaces sa ating mga libraries for students? Okay, are you okay with that or are you not okay with that? Study, work, and event spaces.
It's always been the mandate of the library, I suppose, to accommodate all this study, work, events. Well, yung events, it's quite new, no? Well, not quite new, but something that's been added to the services of the library, and we love it. We like it. We would like to welcome everyone if you'd like to make the library an event space. Okay, especially if it has something to do with your academic initiatives ng mga like organizations, yung mga student groups natin, okay naman po yan sa library. Kaya nga po talagang excited kami na makabalik ng University Main Library ng Gonzales Hall because we've already identified spaces for this. Okay, you'd like say mga book launch, yung mga ganon, mga receptions, we can do that in the library. Wala pong problema naman.
Thank you, Ma'am LV. Ma'am Sure, next question.
Apo. Ma'am LV, here's another question po from another attendee. This time, this has something to do with making sound judgment. And the question is asking you to actually cite an instance where right sound judgment is being practiced within or among the library staff po.
Specific. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Medyo ano to, sa right sound judgment or practiced within within library staff. Nito pong mga nagdaang 3 taon, nabanggit ko nga po kanina, there are instances na talagang na-test yung resiliency ng libraries and ng library staff, no. And there are situations wherein we have to make that judgment call. Specific na lang in delivery of service. Halimbawa, mahigpit tayo dun sa rule na there are specific items in the library that can only be used within the library. But during that situation, parang mas napakahirap na maging mahigpit tayo sa mga ganun pagka. For example, may ano na kumbaga may pangangailangan na magawa ka agad yung isang bagay or mai-deliver na kaagad. So ang ano naman, kahit na minsan lihis siya sa rule, dahil nandoon yung pangangailangan, mas uunahin na naming sagutin or i-provide yung pangangailangan na yon. Kahit pa kung minsan lihis na nga siya doon sa kung ano yung sinasabi ng rule ng library. For example nga, yung pagpapahiram ng libro. So napakadali na sa amin yan. Hindi na namin pag-iisipan na bakit hindi pwede. Hindi na to yung just in case, but yung point of need, kailangan naming masagot yon. So I think that's where we make some judgment in a way. Pagdating naman po sa halimbawa sa mga staff, may mga pagkakataon na hindi madali yung kailangang i-manage mo na sino ba ang papayagan at sino ang hindi. Ito yung mga pagkakataon na yan. Pero para sa library, madali sa amin kung halimbawa, ang importante sa library, kailangan merong tao na sasagot if there are questions, be it online or face-to-face. Pero halimbawa may pagkakataon na, hindi pwede. Ang sabi ng university, work from home tayong lahat. Hindi namin pwedeng gawin yon. So madaling pagdesisyonan na hindi, yung iba maiiwan, yung iba pwede nang mag-work from home. Okay? So, yun yung mga, hindi na namin kailangang pag-isipan, pero alam namin na tama yung magiging desisyon namin because what we have in mind are the welfare of our users and that need that we need to address immediately. Ganun po. Okay?
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Medyo mahirap ang katanungan pero ito po ay head-on na inyo pong sinagot. Salamat po. Sir
Okay.
John?
Yes po. Thank you, Ma'am. Sure. Yung next na tanong or mga tanong actually magka-relate tong dalawang ito. Pag-iisahin ko na lang, no? In terms of promoting staff daw po, no? Ano ba ang mahalaga? Meritocracy or seniority? Ang meritocracy siguro yung sinasabi ng academic achievement, may masters, may PhD, may professional achievements, okay? Tapos yung seniority, of course, yung ilang taon nang tumagal siguro, no? Sa organization. Kasama rin pa dyan yung core job performance track record. Ano ba yung matimbang or ano ba yung pagbabalanse na gagawin pag magpo-promote tayo ng staff, no? Bilang isang UL, Ma'am LV.
Okay. I was kind of sure that this will come up. We always try to strike a balance in doing this. Okay, balance between what's our actual achievements, credentials, and then actual job performance, track record. Actually po, ang university library ay meron pong instrumento para dito. So, hindi po mahirap para sa amin or hindi namin kinakailangan na tumutok dito. Depende sa kung sino yung mga halimbawa applicants, candidates, nominees, dahil meron po kaming instrumento na tutulong sa amin para ma-determine sino na nga ba ang pwede or sino yung dapat. Hindi lang yung pwede, sino yung dapat na say go up, ma-promote. So we have that instrument. But say going beyond that, okay, kunwari wala kami nun, I would like to still, make a stand that it is important for us, academic preparation is important, academic achievement is important, specifically para doon sa mga posisyon that would require us to have this educational attainment that will, justify you being, promoted or being given that new position. So for me, in a way, we give priority to academic achievements, but definitely core job performance and track record, it's there in our set of criteria. So hindi po ito magiging issue dahil nga po guided kami when it comes to this. But ang isa ko pong dito being UP, of course, we have to consider that in a way, academic achievement should be there on top of our criterion or something that we'll have to consider first when having people to we're considering people for promotion or for going up that ladder. Yun po.
Thank you, Ma'am LV, for answering that question. Ma'am Sure.
Ma'am LV, the next question has something to do with management style. Ma'am, how would you describe your management style? During your first term, was it effective? And would you like to elaborate on your response? Thank you po.
Okay. Nabanggit ko po ito when I was interviewed by the Board of Regents for my first term. No? How would you manage your staff in particular? Dun muna tayo. My management style is more like I want it to be, and I'm really, making it a point that I am the administrator or the UL that the staff wouldn't fear approaching. I maintain an open door policy. If I can, I sabi nga nila minsan micromanaging, but I want to share that it works for me because there are certain needs or certain concerns na kung titingnan mo maliit na bagay lang, but kung more than one na yung may ganong issue or pangangailangan, hindi na lang siya micromanaging for me because it can escalate into something na baka pag umabot na ton, hindi na rin manageable for me. So my management style is in a way a nurturing type rather than issuing just commands and delegating. I want to say that it's a management style that looks into making sure that everyone gets involved, everyone is on board. Because yun nga, nanggaling ang library dun sa isang napakahirap na situation na kung hindi lahat naiintindihan at hindi lahat tinatanggap kung ano yung role ng library at what is expected of the library, it's going to be more difficult. But thankfully, during my term, I'm just so glad to share na I believe we manage. I believe we were able to get everyone on board. Although there are still na may major challenging pa on their part, but majority is there, ready to to follow and ready to give their share. So it's a management style that I would say is open, nurturing, and wanting to get everyone involved. Siguro dahil nanggaling ako dun sa traditional na mga type of managers that, authoritative, yung tipong talagang structured, di ba? Structured talaga. You only talk to those kung nasang level mo. I know I refuse to be that type of manager. So as much as possible, I would like to be able to reach out to everyone. Okay. That's the management style I'd like to maintain.
Okay, so yung next question, Ma'am LV. Thank you for answering that last question. No, this new question talks about security risks na nararanasan natin siguro na both for our physical facilities and our virtual facilities, such as fire, theft, mold, water leaks, and so on and so forth. No, so ano daw po ang mga measures na in place na ngayon sa University Library at ano pa ba dapat gawin, no, para mabawasan, mawala itong mga security risks na ito?
Okay. Alam niyo po ba, ano, banggitin ko lang, pag sa ito yung mga moments namin before sa library na talagang, naku, buti na lang. When the faculty center was raised by fire in 2016, ang parang ang realization namin sa library is, naku, tayo na yung number 1 fire risk. Thankfully, at least yung main library during that time in 26. Thankfully, that was also the time na nag-uumpisa na rin kami na magplano para naman sa renovation and retrofitting ng main library. So for now, in the ongoing renovation, dito muna tayo sa main library, on the ongoing renovation, lahat po itong mga risk na ito ay na-address na. So may mga fire suppressants na tayo doon, may water din, and then yung security nga in terms of yung mga physical facilities natin, na-address na po yun. Meron na tayong tawag dito, yung security gate is part of the infra. Yung sa mga virtual facilities din naman natin, we make it a point na we are less yung vulnerability. Okay, less yung vulnerability natin by using systems that will ensure that our virtual assets are protected. So may mga initiatives na po dyan ng library. I hope I can elaborate more on that, but I may have to discuss this with our IT department. Baka may mali akong masabi, no? Pero we were definitely looking into that. Kasi alam naman, we have past experiences na thankfully hindi naman talaga library yung naging vulnerable. Pero of course, we learned from those. We learned from those. So may mga ginagawa na po tayong initiatives, and we make it sure, lalong-lalo na po sa main library natin. For the unit libraries naman, I want to believe that our librarians, our library staff are knowledgeable of all this, risk. And of course, we understand that there are limitations on how we can assure that these are being addressed. But I know that, okay, umpisahan natin. Ano bang pinaka-simple? Like fire, ang tawag doon, yung mga, sa mga libraries, definitely we have those. And then, we understand how our records should be protected. So, every librarian should know that, how our records should be kept secured. So, alam po natin yan. So, in terms of all this, I believe the library is the most ready and has the capability to ensure that we can minimize on this, and or at the most guys, hindi talaga maging mataas yung risk pagdating dito sa mga disasters na ito.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Ito naman po yung susunod nating katanungan. Ma'am, you have been exposed to the best practices abroad. Would you cite an instance wherein learnings from these travels have been implemented into a concrete project in the library?
Okay. I can go as far back as like if I may just cite one in 2007 I had this opportunity to be a fellow in a seminar in Salzburg, Austria. And this is the time we were just talking about social media, okay, what it has to do with literacy. And after participation in that seminar as a fellow, pagbalik ko dito, that's the time na naumpisahan na rin yung mga information literacy programs ng University Library beyond yung lang instructions or orientations. Okay, we started with how social media can be integrated into our services and how we can make use of this in service delivery and promoting our resources. So that's one of I can remember as far back as that, and that's 2007. More recently naman is that opportunity when I participated in a leadership program. And this is, there are lots of learnings in this. And ito nga yung siguro, this what makes me, different from other library managers or library administrators in terms of how I deal with, the staff, the manner of our service delivery. Because I realized that the way we practice here and the way we manage our libraries here in the Philippines before this is quite, hindi lang traditional kundi talagang outdated. Sobrang outdated talaga, and I'm thankful for this learnings abroad kasi madali nang i-introduce dito. Siguro nga dahil umpisahan natin eco seminars. When you participate in programs abroad, you have to do an echo here, and it's easy na to share it with everyone and to justify integrating this or introducing it to our library system. So yun po, may mga ilang projects na rin naman, yun nga sabi ko na kanina, yung ating information literacy programs wherein we're integrated yung social media, and sa ngayon po marami na rin na talagang nagagamit ng library yung gamification, yung siguro ang mga susunod na titingnan na namin dito is AI. Yan na yung kasunod niyan. Okay. Sige. Yun po.
Maraming
Thank you
salamat.
po, Ma'am LV.
Yung next na question, Ma'am LV, ay management-related question ulit ito, no? How do you handle difficult or pasaway staff?
Okay, I think I have the advantage of experience. Being with the university library for the past 31 years. I want to believe na wala namang talagang pasaway or difficult staff. Meron lang tayong iba-ibang concerns, iba-ibang challenges. So, hanggat kaya, what I do is, yun nga, I mentioned kanina, I maintain an open door policy sa library. So anyone can just come in if they have concerns and if they believe that I should be the one addressing it. I welcome that. So, kung may mga ganito, halimbawa hindi na kaya ng kanilang mga heads, o kung yung head mismo, yung difficult or pasaway, ako naniniwala na wala namang hindi na re-resolve kung hindi napapag-usapan. I approach it. I want to approach it that way. Na, okay, let's talk about it. Let me know what are the things that concerns you, or why is it that you find it difficult, like say doing your job or dealing with the rest of the staff. Kung minsan po kasi, and this is I came to realize this. May mga pagkakataon na hindi mo naman talaga gustong magalit or hindi mo naman talaga gustong makipag-away or magkaroon ng argumento sa isang staff. It's just that meron ka lang personal na mga concerns na nadadala mo sa opisina. Okay? So ito naman yung una kong paalala palagi. Para ma-avoid na magkakaroon ng mga ganitong mga difficult staff or mga difficult situations is hanggat maaari, I remind my staff na if you have concerns na hindi nyo kayang i-separate from work, I mean kung madadala nyo sa trabaho, okay, might as well not come to work. Okay? I mean, deal with it first. Deal with that concerns first. Anyway, may mga paraan naman ang library to assess, 'di ba? So, pag ganon, dapat naintindihan na nila na hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa opisina or pumasok sa opisina na may dala-dala ka, na may mga bagahe ka, na pagka ganon, magiging mahirap ka ngang kasama, magiging mahirap ka ngang katrabaho. So, inumpisahan ko lang sa ganon. So, ibig sabihin, kung talagang umabot na dun sa punto na nandoon na siya sa opisina at nagiging difficult or pasaway na siya, ibig sabihin, hindi niya inintindi yung ganon. So, ibig sabihin, baka may mas malalapang dahilan. And that, I would definitely have to address.
Thank you, Ma'am LV. Ma'am She.
Opo. Ma'am Elvie, ito pong susunod nating katanungan po ay tungkol po sa inyong pagdedesisyon sa pag-assign ng head sa unit libraries. At ito po yung katanungan, maaari po bang malaman kung paano po kayo magdesisyon sa pag-assign ng head sa unit libraries? Ito po ba ay base sa item, halimbawa ay CL2 or CL3? Or ito po ba ay base sa kung sino po ang sa tingin po ninyo ang susuporta sa mga programa o vision ninyo bilang University Librarian?
Okay. Umpisahan ko lang dun sa yung support to the programs and vision should be a given. Diba? Hindi naman kailangang tatanungin ko ba yung isang staff o ilalagay kita dun sa isang unit pero susuportahan mo ba? It should be a given. Dapat lahat ng nasa library is supportive of the vision and vision of the University Librarian. Dapat given yan. So, hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na yan ang basis ko. No? Kasi dapat given nga yan. Pero, structured ang university library Diba? So, and then guided kami by some criterion on how to assign a unit head librarians. Unang-una, depende sa size ng unit. Okay? Number of enrollment, number of collection. Kung malaking kolehiyo yan, expected naman na dapat yung mas mataas ang posisyon ng mailalagay dyan. Ideally nga, halimbawa, ang isang large college library should be headed by a college librarian for at least. Pero kung minsan hindi nangyayari yon dahil kulang naman yung nasa plantilla namin. So, anong next best move? Maybe, assign someone na nasa CL3 or college librarian position if it's a large library. So, pwede rin naman na kung kahit hindi pa siya CL3, pwede na siyang ma-assign as head, pwedeng sa mas maliit na library with smaller number of staff, smaller number of collection. Yung service is not as big and at least in scope sa isang malaking library or large library. So, yun yung mga guide. And I would also like to believe that I'm able to see potentials. So, ito siguro yung medyo subjective ako and I admit I do that. Pero kailangan kasi ito, as a manager, I should be able to do that Kailangan makita ko na itong librarian na ito has that potential to be the leader, to be the head of that unit. Kung minsan regardless of the position. So, it's important and I want to believe that I have a knack for it. I'm able to identify potential in someone and I'm just so lucky that the current structure ng university library, it's quite easy to recognize that. Andyan yung performance, nandyan yung actual involvement nila. At saka makikita mo naman na yung hindi lang enthusiasm, kundi yung talagang yung leadership qualities. So yun yung mga nagiging basehan ko. So maliwanag yun. I hope maliwanag yun sa lahat.
Thank you po, Ma'am Elvie. Sir John, please read the next question. Thank you.
Okay. Ito naman po ito ko sa pag-share ng mga resources ng library. Is it possible daw po for other staff outside the main library to use facilities like the child minding room? Kasi sila daw po ay hindi taga main lib pero malapit lang sila sa main lib. Pwede daw po ba yun?
Okay. I don't want to be ahead myself on this now, but we do, part ng aming mga spaces identified is the God room, which is going to be the child minding room. We already, we had this before yung renovation ng main library. Yun yung isang sigurado ako na meron. And during the time, we're quite strict about it being just for the use of library staff. Kasi maraming reason. Unang-una na is yung security. 'Di ba? And yung safety. We cannot be ano no, I don't want to be extending ourselves too thin na hindi naman namin masisecure yung lugar, tatanggap kami nung mga hindi taga-library kasi mas risky yun, mas mahirap yun. Pero ito yung isa kong pwede pong sabihin sa inyo ngayon. Come the time that the main library is going to open na and our child minding room, we'll see kung kaya po talaga namin to assure that the child that will be be there we can secure them, we can ensure their safety. Gagawin po natin. And kung basta kaya po ng espasyo na yon at yun nga po basta magiging safe siya at magiging secure, gagawin po natin. Lalo na nga po dun. Kasi naiintindihan ko po yung pangangailangan. Naiintindihan po namin yung pangangailangan. But sige po, tingnan po natin. Pag nandyan na po yung child minding room na yan.
Thank you, Ma'am Elvie. Ma'am Sure.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Yung pong susunod nating tanong ay kanina medyo na-anticipate yun na po, kasi ito ay patungkol sa AI. Sabi po dito sa tanong ay, please discuss how particular AI systems or applications that you are aware of can improve UPD library service. Aside from the financial cost and sustainability issues, how do you think it will negatively affect the library services, if any?
Okay. Siguro for now muna, there are at least three areas which I know where AI can be integrated, or we can make use of it. Una-una po dun sa aming materials organization, cataloging and classification. These algorithms, the AI algorithms can actually help us in categorizing and organizing our resources. So malaking tulong po sa amin yan if you're gonna have AI in our cataloging and classification. And then in terms of user services naman, sa mga reading recommendations, di po ba, madaling magamit ang AI wherein we can analyze yung mga user preferences, ano yung mga reading habits nila. We just have to have data for those. And then we can also suggest, ano yung mga tailored book recommendations na pwede namin gawin para sa kanila. So that's isa pang use. So dalawa na yan. Cataloging, classification, and then yung sa mga reading recommendations. Pwede rin po of course, we can do recommendations, and in a way, we can then optimize, diba? Yung reading optimization, wherein we can use AI tools and help us in terms of resource allocation. Diba? Madali na naming malaman saan ba mas mataas yung demand, saan yung okay lang at hindi naman sa hindi kailangan i-prioritize, pero they can just be, pwedeng next na sila. So if we have the data and we have these AI algorithms that we can use, yun po yung tatlong paraan na makakatulong ang AI sa library. Syempre, may cost ngayon, kagaya nga ngayon, 'di ba? Subscribing to turn it in, talagang we're talking of millions here. Pero sila yung may mga AI AI features eh. How will it negatively affect library services? Not actually, or not automatically in terms of library services, but more of how our users will actually perceive libraries now with AI. For example, ChatGPT, anong bang ng ChatGPT and doing actual library research? I think that's more of the question we need to that's more of the concern that we need to discuss eh. Pero ako tinitingnan ko po ito, bakit? Nandiyan naman din dati ang Wikipedia eh. Pero pumunta pa rin ng library ang mga especially those doing serious research. Okay? Lagi nga namin sinasabi, like for example, yung Wikipedia noon, it's a good jump start. It's a good jump off point. The same way with ChatGPT now as an AI alternative. It's a good jump off point. But if you're a serious researcher doing serious research, of course, you will not rely completely on what ChatGPT is going to give you, di ba? So, yun yung mga namin sa library ngayon. And ito yung mga guiding principles namin. Okay, it's a good facility, it's a tool, but not if you're doing, actual serious research. It could be a help, but don't do it Don't just make use of it to and expect of coming up with a good research. Yeah. Yun po.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am.
Mm.
Okay. Yung next na tanong, Ma'am LV, ay tungkol sa turnover ng mga employees no, sa library. Ano po ang takeaway ninyo sa mga library staff na nag-resign o nag-transfer sa ibang office kasi parang observation niya ay mabilis yung turnover
Okay.
ng mga empleyado?
Yeah. It's mostly economics. Okay. Why would you stay in an office knowing that there's another one that can offer you a bigger laging ganon. Yun palagi yung reason. Either lilipat kasi mas may mataas na item or mag-abroad, magma-migrate. Yun naman yung karaniwang reason. And how can you I don't see any other alternative or any other strategy to address this dahil doing that would actually mean na parang pine-prevent mo yung tao na alam mo yon, you're depriving him of that opportunity to improve on his 'di ba? Like paano mo sasabihin na huwag kang umalis mas mataas yung sweldo na pupuntahan niya. 'Di ba? So hindi po 'yun ang dahilan namin. Kapag ganun po yung dahilan ng empleyado, okay. Ano na lang po talaga, we will let go. But there's always that na last na baka naman pwedeng you stay, consider mo that there will be some items that will be vacated. So may mga attempts pa rin naman po sa mga ganon. Kaya lang po talaga if it's economics na yung reason, medyo mahirap na po talagang i-address yun. So sa ngayon nga po, may mga ilang empleyado na kami na talagang umaalis. Pero alam niyo po, I would like to share lang din. May mga empleyado tayo na umaalis kasi nakukuha sila sa ibang institution, sa ibang opisina dahil ang isang malaking bentahe nila ay galing sila ng UP. I'm proud of that fact na pag galing ng UP library, okay, they actually thrive when they say transfer or was hired in other offices. We have past employees who are now directors of big universities, and I want to believe it's because of their training. It's because of the way they were prepared dito sa UP library. So sige na po, tanggapin na natin. Sasabihin na naging training ground ang university library. But that's a bitter pill to swallow talaga Ganun po talaga. Marami po talagang pagkakataon na talagang nagiging training ground ang university library. But thankfully naman po, yung mga nanggagaling nga po talaga dito, nagtatribe talaga sila. At nagiging more than okay sila sa kung saan man sila lilipat.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am LV. Ma'am Sher?
Opo. Ma'am LV, the next question talks about feedback as a way of, as actually helping improve the management, the decision making. So dito po yung tanong, what feedback during your first term which you consider a game changer and even help you improve your management?
Feedback, okay. One of the things that that came to my attention in terms of how I actually deal with, specific to yung pag-manage ng assignments ng nasa units. And yung connection ng main library at ng mga unit libraries. So, I had good feedbacks on this. I believe that effective yung naging manner ko of engaging the unit libraries, addressing their specific needs, identifying, okay, what should be prioritized. One way that these feedbacks actually has become a game changer for me is na-realize ko that there are actually units who are just, waiting for me to reach out to them. And by reaching out to them, nalaman ko ngayon ano yung mga hindi na-express, ano yung mga unexpressed needs nila. one example. Very crucial sa mga libraries that we're able to process our resources for use. So ibig sabihin, mula sa pagbili hanggang sa pag-prepare them, yung mga mechanical preparations and all, cataloging, and then yung talagang nandiyan na siya sa shelves ready for lending. I realized na may mga units pala na kailangan na ng tulong on that aspect. So ang naging response ng library, and it's actually something that I'm truly proud of, is, sige, mag-task force tayo, tulungan natin yung mga unit libraries. I mobilized the cataloging and metadata section namin. Ito may mga libraries na nangangailangan ng assistance natin. And it helped actually. So talagang hindi lang nag-improve yung relations ng main library, ng aking office at ng unit, kundi talagang nagkatulungan, na-address namin yung mga pangangailangan nila na shelved na in the past. So I think these are some of our management decisions that I was able to make because of those feedbacks from the units.
Thank you po, Ma'am LV. The next question talks about or is about the book fund. Ano po ang possible adjustments on the book fund given na nagkaroon po ng pandemic?
Okay, this could be multifaceted itong question na to. It could be about how the administration actually supports us in terms of providing for the fund, or it could be that of the actual library fund, okay, that's been collected from the students and being, reimbursed for those na hindi yung free university nga. Siguro in terms of actually getting those, wala tayong adjustment na pwedeng gawin kasi these are all parang managed by the administration, and there are certain conditions on this. And for example, yun nga yung nire-reimburse sa atin ng CHED. We can only wait as to when they're giving it to the university. Yung distribution, I suppose this is about how we distribute. Tama ba dun sa nagtanong? This is how we distribute book fund. In a way, how we manage them. Again, on that aspect, siguro wala tayong magagawang adjustment talaga kasi these are determined naman by yung mga dating factors na number of students, paying students, number of tawag nito, yung actual na nare-receive ng university. Pero siguro in terms of distribution, we can discuss this among us. Kasi sa ngayon, hindi ko pa alam kung ano talaga yung impact nung current practice natin. But we can discuss this sa atin na ito, and para ma-identify lang, para makita lang natin saan na ba kailangang areas tayo may i-address in terms of managing our book fund. Sige, we'll discuss this.
Salamat po, Ma'am LV. Ma'am, yung next question natin has reference to your previous answer earlier about the library having an instrument for that you're using for objective hiring. So ito po yung katanungan, has this been effective? Were you able to get the best for a particular position? And the attendees asked to cite examples. And isa pa po, what part of the instrument you believe needs amendment?
Okay. So, ano lang to ha, I'll try to be very specific. In terms of hiring, what's in our criterion is yung education, experience, performance, evaluation, achievements, and ano na nga yung isa pa. Those I remember kasi up for revision na nga ito Definitely it help us and it guides us to be able to select the best, ang lagi lang namin hinahanap yung best fit. And then, of course, yung potentials, laging nandun yun. Pero yung best fit for the position talaga ang palagi namin hinahanap. And I believe that the tool we are using now, the matrix, is truly able to help us. Mas maganda kasi na meron yung instrumento or may gamit, may tool ka na pinagbabatayan if you have to make decisions on this. So that there will be less, parang less subjective no? Less subjective ka when you make decisions on this. So natutulungan talaga kami noon, that instrument. Pero yun nga, this is up for review and revision, and we're currently doing that. Okay? Specifically, that part of that instrument that needs amendment is that part, that criterion on experience. Specifically, on the instrument that we are using for entry-level positions. Kasi nandoon na nakalagay pa, ang laki ng percentage in terms of experience. Hindi na nga kailangan. So medyo siguro kami doon, hindi na nga naman hinahanap ang experience for entry-level position. So that one part, we need to address that. We need to make revisions on that. But as it is, this tool, this performance measure, nakakatulong po talaga sa amin. And I can't think of any other instrument right now. Maybe as we progress, maybe we can identify something else. But for now, I believe this tool, this instrument is truly helpful.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Yung next question po, Ma'am LV, ay patungkol doon sa ginagawa ng library in relation naman to the philosophy of the University of the Philippines, which is of course to become a hub for social change. So aside from the various services ng UP or ng mga constituents nito, ano pong mga programa at mga serbisyo ang ginagawa ninyo para po mag-benefit ang general public, ang sambayan ng Pilipino?
I always love this question. Kasi po may mga initiatives po talaga ang library wherein we ensure that we are able to do public service, outreach services with one thing na talagang ito yung namin, ito yung plugin ng aming mga flagship project. It is information literacy. Because everything starts, I want to believe that everything starts with how people make use of how the community, how everyone makes use of information. Siguro being a librarian, this is one thing na hindi kailangan public service na Hindi kailangan. This is what we are. This is what we are here for. This is what defines being a librarian and being an information professional. So aside from it being part of our services, our programming, we also make it part of our outreach and extension services for the general public. We have initiatives on doing this, from gathering materials for donations to libraries, to conducting information literacy, our information literacy campaign. The way we market our resources is always something to do with, why we want everyone to be information literate and to understand why information, authoritative, verifiable, accurate information is critical. No, so it's always in our mind. It's always learning from cradle to grave, or your lifelong learning. We believe that learning doesn't stop when you get out of the university. Luckily for those na magagawa talaga yon. Pero syempre alam naman natin yung limitasyon ng edukasyon dito sa Pilipinas. So yun po. We have services for that. Nabanggit ko na nga po kanina, yung mga ginagawa namin. We identify communities wherein we can do this initiatives. Meron po kaming tinatawag na LEAD program, yung library. Ano nga ba yon? LEAD. Basta it has something to do with how we create programs for that will promote information literacy. And I believe this is where it all should start. Diba? Understanding information and being information literate. So yun po yung mga masasabi ko sa ngayon na nagagawa namin. Not only for UP but for the general public.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. Yung susunod pong katanungan ay isang clarification at tungkol po sa nabanggit nyo kanina. Don't come to office if you are dealing with something. Ito po yung nasabi, hindi po ba ito ay dapat mag-intervene ang Health and Wellness Committee?
Okay. Siguro po may level ito may levels ito. What if it's something that is personal to you? What if it is someone who at that point is not acknowledging that he needs or she needs help? Diba? Something that, temporary, and sana lang hindi talaga madala hanggang opisina. Definitely, meron nga po kaming Health and Wellness Committee, di po ba? Pero saang level ba dapat nag-i-intervene ang health and wellness? We have to be able to identify that first, and we have to be able to be clear with that first. Kasi nga, di ba, hindi naman natin, mahirap din po kasing mag-assume na, ay, ito kailangan na ng tulong. Kasi may mga pagkakataon na it is something that we have to deal within us muna, sa sarili muna natin. And siguro, ang call naman para sa opisina, if when we recognize that someone is actually needing help. Pero let's not assume that everyone actually, kasi sometimes mas nagiging ano yun parang mas ano tawag doon, nagkakaroon ng negative impact or negative na epekto dun sa tao. Kasi we don't really know kung ano yung pinagdadaanan niya. And only up to a certain point, and when we recognize it as something na talagang kailangan ng mag-intervene ng office, that's the time that we're gonna be doing that.
Thank you po, Ma'am LV.
Okay. Yung next question po, Ma'am LV, ay patungkol sa, siguro mag-aano kayo, yung magpo-foresee kayo ng future ninyo. Kasi ang tanong niya ay, ano ba daw ang sa tingin nyo, no, na magiging proudest accomplishment nyo pag mag-wrap up na kayo ng second term ninyo, ano, assuming na kayo nga ang magiging next UL, may continuity, at pwede ba kayo mag-commit sa ganong klase ng accomplishment as early as now?
Okay, sige. Let's be specific about it, no? I want to see 3 years from now, well-performing, well-functioning main library. Wherein nagawa na namin lahat, na-incorporate na lahat yung mga plano. Okay? It's very specific to the main library. Sana nagawa na lahat yon 3 years from now. Ibig sabihin, nakabalik na kami, everything is in place, and I believe that that's going to be one very proud moment for me. No? And sana, okay, kasi hindi ko naman pwedeng sabihin na kaya kong gawin yan in the next 3 years because there will be other factors to consider. But I'm gonna be aiming for that. So focus on the main library. Another thing is 3 years from now, okay, I want to see the university library, not only the main library, but everyone in the university, UP Diliman University Library System, where everything is in place. Wala nang concerns about staffing, wala nang concerns with, a difficulty in service delivery. In a way na address na yung mga difficulties that we had to endure in itong past 3 years na to. Kumbaga, hindi lang back to normal, back to an improved, okay, normal in the university library. Ibig sabihin talagang na nakalampas na tayo dun sa mahirap na paraan na yun. And we are thriving. Libraries are thriving. We're able to provide that services anchored in the UP traditions of honor and excellence. That's another proud moment. Kasi po sa ngayon, we have to accept it. There are certain things in the UP library na talagang kailangan nang i-address. So in terms of, lalo na po sa ating mga unit libraries, and we'll be needing the help of our college administrations for that. So I can only commit that I will do my best, okay, in the next 2 years in doing that. There will be other factors to consider, but I hope we can overcome. I hope we can, address all this. And in the next 3 years or after 3 years, we have the best academic library in the country. That's it.
Salamat po.
Ma'am LV, the next question po, there are 2 questions that are related, so I'll just ask them in one go. No, given the recent political climate, how would you deal with dissent? And the other thing po, the other piece is that now that historical revisions are happening in various spaces, what if it is arising inside the library?
Dissent, okay. UP has always, UP has always been accommodating of, various ideas, different ideas. And dissent is not something that, I don't want to say that something that should consider me or should consider the library, but this is more of how are we supposed to deal with this separate from our own personal beliefs. Kasi ang library, hindi ko naman sinasabing dapat neutral ang library, ano. We always have to take a stand. But then, if it has something to do with the need for information, we have to be able to deliver it, regardless of what beliefs we have or what ideals we have. The library should be that space that will have to, deal with both. Be it differences in political beliefs, be it differences in affiliations, be it differences in religious ideation. So, hindi ito dapat magkakaroon ng epekto on how we are supposed to deliver our services. So, the library should remain that space that is, accommodating of everyone. That's my belief. Okay. Ano yung isa? Medyo wala dito sa
The second piece, ma'am, is yung historical revisions po. And if it's what if it is arising inside the library?
Okay. Let me just clarify this. Arising inside the library. Okay. Arising like how our
What
staff.
if, sort of, ma'am, what if there are historical revisions, there are certain materials that need to be moved somewhere or hidden. I don't know if that's if that's the proper term, but
Actually,
what if it's arising inside the library? Yun po yung sinasabi. Apo. Thank you.
Well, luckily we don't have to deal with this pa. No. And even if it's even if it is something that we actually have to deal with, ang palagi lang naman, ako personally, palagi ko lang naman sagot dito is, these materials have always been there. That's always been there. Ilang administrations na yung dumaan na ang UP sa pinakamahirap na part ng history. Pero, this materials in the library remained. I wish I have that, na I can make a claim that we have materials on this and that, and we manage to preserve them. Yeah, because we do, but it was because of the efforts and initiative of the past library administrations. And we're quite proud of it nandito sa library, yung mga materyales na hindi mo iisipin dapat nasa library. But we keep them, we maintain them. Because they are part of our history. And I don't see any reason, okay, be it an initiative to revise our history or to make our history written differently. I don't think the library should have any problem with that, unless it is something that will become a question regarding safety of staff, 'di ba? Kung medyo magiging, alam mo 'yon, yung mapapasok or ano. Ang sa akin dito, siguro magugulat yung iba sa magiging stand ko dito, pero halimbawa, kung materialis 'yan at gusto mong kunin dahil naniniwala ka na dapat wala yan para sa library at may hawak kang barel, tututok mo sa akin, edi kunin mo na. Sige na, kunin mo na. Pero hindi ko sasabihin sa'yo na we have ways of having a copy of that. Kunin mo yung physical, sa iyo na. Pero hindi mo masasabi na mawawala yan totally sa library because we have ways of keeping and preserving those materials.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am LV. We're down to the last two questions po. Sir John?
Yung isa ay isang difficult question. Di ko alam kung kailangan ko siyang i-repackage. No? Pero as it is, I'll read it. Why should UP not reappoint you? Siguro ang context is ano ba yung mga limitations meron si UL, LV, no? Na para hindi siya ma-reappoint as a UL. Ma'am, would you want to indulge with the question?
Ako naman, sir, my take on this is, ito yung mga tanong na kung ayaw ninyo ng isang librarian na may vision para sa UP at may magagawa pa para sa UP, then do not reappoint me. Pero kung in your context naman is, Well, I have to admit that in terms of, like, say, technology applications in the library, I'm not that, it's not something that I have in me completely. But I believe that I am able to recognize from among my staff and my librarians, those who can, make the library be technologically at par with other libraries. I know I have them in my team. So I just need to learn what these technologies are for the libraries, and I can already work with them. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a website designer. Well, I can understand how ChatGPT works, but not, how which algorithm actually, how it works. So those are my limitations. Okay, so but I know I can identify, okay, those in my team who can help me, deal with those limitations. So yun lang po. But in terms of management, in terms of, people management, resource management, I believe I have enough experience for that. Napaghandaan ko na po yan. I know how I'm supposed to deal with those concerns. So I believe I'm ready for another term.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am LV, for answering that question head on. Last question, Ma'am Sher.
I think this is a very good question to end our open forum this afternoon. Ito po, ma'am, libraries feel so old and tired at times. What out of the box, era defining, or even against the conventional policy or guidelines will be implemented in your second term?
Okay, yan. This is the exciting part, sabi nga. And kahit kami, excited kami dito because for me, like, no, I've had the opportunity to be exposed to yung mga libraries, tawag din, mga state of the art libraries, yung mga libraries that are able to include in their programming like services and ano man yun, yung mga offerings that actually excites the students, the faculty. Kumbaga, ito yung mga, but I want to share that this is now actually the most exciting times for libraries because ang dami naming pwedeng gamitin. Okay, ang daming tools, ang daming apps that we can actually use to make our service delivery, hindi na ganun ka-boring or hindi na siya old, hindi na siya tired, hindi na siya traditional, hindi na siya. One example is, and we got an award for this, is we use gamification in our library. So may mga pa-games ang libraries. Games ito, and at the same time, our students are able to learn how to use and how to access our electronic resources. Kasi nga, kung gagawin lang namin traditional yan, na i-orient lang namin sila that this is what we have, this is what you can use for the library, that's the boring, that's the old way of service delivery. Pero ngayon, since alam namin ng mga estudyante interested sila sa games, okay, let's do it na maglalaro tayo sa library. And at the same time, natututo kayo and you will have an appreciation of these resources and that we have in the library, and hopefully after this game, alam nyo na kung paano nyo siyang magagamit so that you can work on your academic requirements and without finding the library as boring as you regarded it ever since. And we also have initiatives to promote, aside from gaming, we also have initiative to promote our resources in various platforms. So, ang motto is, be where our users are. Diba? Nasaan ba yung mga users namin? Kung nasa social media sila, dapat nasa social media din tayo. Kung nakikita natin sila na ganito yung interest, let's address that interest. Ano ba yung pwedeng magpapunta sa kanila sa library? Outside those traditional approaches na meron tayo. So for now, yun lang yung masasabi ko na kahit kami excited of what we can do because of all these tools and all these apps available to us, and we can commit na we will integrate it in our programming, in our services. Yun.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Elvie. Hindi madali kung para po sa interes ng lahat. Meron tayong naging 27 questions ngayong open forum na ito at lahat po ito ay head-on sinagot ni Ma'am Elvie. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Elvie, at lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga participants ngayong hapon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong mga katanungan. Marami po tayong nalinawan na iba-ibang aspeto ng pamumuno ng sa University Library na nasagot po at natugunan ngayong hapon. So, ngayon po, dadako na po tayo sa susunod na section ng ating programa. Sir John, please go ahead.
Okay. Siguro bago tayo mag-close ng ating programa, some announcements again sa ating mga stakeholders. Meron kayong chance na ma-interview ng committee na ito. Meron kaming ginawa na nakapaskil sa ating Zoom room at sa ating mga audiences sa social media. Pwede niyo po itong ma-scan at kayo po ay pwede namin ma-interview sa August. Pwede niyo po itong ma-accomplish on or before August 23, 2023 in time po sa aming interviews with you. At kung wala po kayo ding time na ma-interview namin, kayo po ay pwede mag-submit ng isang written or video recorded comment, suggestion, or kung may concern kayo regarding sa ating nominee, sa kanyang vision, at sa kanyang mga plano, pwede niyo po itong ibahagi sa search committee on or before August 28, 2023 naman. At nandyan po yung kung saan nyo pwedeng isend. UPD search for UL at outlook.com. Yan po yung pwede nyong mabigay sa amin para po matulungan kami na i-craft yung rekomendasyon patungkol sa next University Librarian. Now at this point, sabi nga ni Ma'am Sher, tayo po ay makikinig sa closing remarks ng isang miyembro ng search committee. Inananayahan po namin Sir Ian Kenrich Fontanilla, PhD, na ibahagi po ito sa atin.
Ayan, magandang hapon po. Narinig niyo po ako?
Sir.
Yes, Sir Ian.
Ayan. So, marami pong salamat sa inyong participation sa ating mga stakeholders at syempre kay Ma'am Elvira, isa pong malaking bagay ng inyong binigay na presentasyon ngayon at yung inyong mga plano sa susunod na 3 taon. Hindi po biro ang maging isang university librarian at hindi rin dapat minamaliit ang university library kasi hindi po natin ma-imagine ang isang pamantasan na walang university library. At malaki po ang ginagampanan nito sa ating mga stakeholder tulad ng mga ibinahagi ni Ma'am Elvira ngayon. So maraming salamat sa inyong partisipasyon at kami po ay muling nananawagan na sana po ay makilahok kayo sa aming stakeholders interview na magaganap sa August 24. Ito po ulit na pinapakita po yung kung paano po kayo pwede mag-register. Ito po ay via Zoom o kung hindi nga po kayo pwede maka-attend, meron naman pong paraan para makapagbigay din kayo ng inyong mga komento o mga katanungan o mga suggestion. Naniniwala po kami na kayo po ay narito dahil pinapahalaga rin ninyo ang katayuan ng university library sa ating pamantasan at layunin po natin talaga na mapa-improve pa ang ating university library sa susunod na mga taon. Lalo na't ngayon ay marami ng pagbabago na gaganap sa ating kapaligiran. So muli maraming salamat at sana magkita po tayo sa August 24. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much po, Sir Fontanilla. So inuulit po namin, may mga ways po tayo para makausap niyo ang search committee. Nabanggit na po namin kung paano po ito or kung meron po kayong time na i-search siya sa mga sa social media ng UP Diliman, nakapaskil po yon doon. Muli po, maraming salamat sa pakikibahagi ng inyong oras ngayong hapon na ito sa ating mga stakeholders. Salamat po kay Ma'am Elvie ulit for being here. And salamat sa mga kapwa namin miyembro ng search committee for being here in the last 2 hours. Okay? So thank you so much po sa ating lahat. Ma'am Sher.
Maraming salamat po at muli good luck po sa rest of the week at sana po ay makibahagi kayo sa mga susunod pang activities po ng ating search for the next university librarian. Muli maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po.
Para tayong nasa spa.